Alrighty, welcome back teachers. If you're anything like me, you don't use PowerPoint, and it's not because it's not good and it's not powerful, but it's because it's so time consuming to create anything meaningfully good for the students with regard to lessons. This is where one of my favorite websites for education, Canva, comes in clutch. I only found out this recently, but it provides you an opportunity to not only find and take someone else's lessons, but it gives you opportunity to modify them to your own specific needs. And then it allows you to present within Canva to your students. So in class, you can present on a projector or on your TV. And it gives you the opportunity to deliver the lesson and record you delivering it so that you can save it for later, so that students can watch it later on your LMS or on YouTube or something like that. There's many different applications to this. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to find and create your own presentations and your own lessons. I'm going to show you how to present them to your class using a variety of amazing tools. And I'm going to show you how to record those videos of you presenting those lessons so that you can save them for later. If that sounds good, come with me. This is amazing. Okay, so first you want to come to canva.com. You're going to need an account and you can sign up for it. But good news, educators, we get it for free. All you have to do is head to canva.com/education, and you can see here where it says teachers get verified. All you have to do is go through, give them information about you, provide your school email address, and you're going to get Canva Pro for free. There's so many incredible features. If you haven't yet, make sure you do get Canva Pro. Sign up, get verified. Okay. Once you're signed up though, you'll get this little education tab here showing you're an educator, but we just want to create a presentation or design. So come up to the top right here, click create a design, and you're looking for this presentation 16:9. That's the aspect ratio. If this isn't here in your suggested, make sure you just type up the top here presentation or whatever, and it will come up lots of different ones, but we want 16:9. So click that and you're off to the races. Okay, so this has created a blank presentation for us. And if you're familiar with Canva, you can go ahead and just make your own. If you have a very specific idea in mind, you can go ahead and add a background, you can add fonts, you can add images, you can do whatever you want. But this is going to be fast and easy for you. So what I want to show you is that you can use this search bar up here and search for whatever you want. Now, I know that there's already a great one on planets in this system, but you can just see how many different lessons there are already created for planets. You can search for your own, whatever you're interested in, whether it's maths or English or history or whatever it is. I'm sure there's something up there for you. So for example, I really like, I think it's this one here. So if I click on that, it shows me all of the slides in that lesson, and I can click apply all 18 pages, and it just applies the presentation down the bottom here. So if I'm delivering a lesson on planets and I click through this and go, yeah, this is pretty cool, I can just go ahead and present this immediately to the class. Now, just as a quick show, I will show this properly later, but in terms of presenting, all you have to do is click present, and here we are, and this can be duplicated, or you can display it on another overhead projector, on a TV in your classroom, or in a Zoom call if you're doing distance ed. And this is already created for us, by the way. You saw me just search for it. We can just click through, and it's an amazing lesson all about the planets in the solar system. It's got animations, it's got transitions, it's got motion in the little icons and pictures here. It's got information here. This is already a really well put together PowerPoint. It's going to be engaging for kids, and it's going to be engaging for you. And it's fast and free and easy. Gosh, there's so much to rave about this thing, but this is pretty cool. Now, I'll go more into the presentation aspect later. First, I want to show you, though, how you can modify this and tweak it if there's little bits that you don't like and things that you want to add. Okay, so this is pretty cool in and of itself, but let's say we wanted to edit it slightly. Say we didn't like this background, and keep in mind this is the exact same background on all the slides, but let's say we didn't like this background and we wanted to change it. Well, Canva has so many different graphics and photos available for you to use for free. So all you have to head over here is on the left to the Elements tab and search for whatever you want. So I might search space background and say I do want a space one, but I don't really like this brown one. I want something more blue. Let's say like this one. I can just click and drag this straight onto my background, and you'll see it plug in there. It takes a moment to not pixelate, and there we are. We have a nice blue background. You'd have to go ahead and do this to all of the pages, but it really takes 2 seconds. So you can just click, drag, click, drag, click, drag, and that won't take you very long at all. So you can change the background. You can keep them different on different ones. Like this brown background looks really cool behind Mars, whereas this blue one I think looks better behind Earth. It's up to you whether you want to do that. We can also change all these fonts. So say, for example, I don't like this font. Maybe I want my presentation to be a little more playful. Maybe I go up to I click the font. You can click inside it if you want to change certain aspects of it. Say you just want it to write planet for whatever reason, you can change that there. But if we just want to change the font, we can click it once. And then up here in the font editor, you can search for very specific fonts if you know what you want. But you can also type what kind of font you want. So I might try the font playful, and I've got a couple of playful ones. This one looks kind of fun and it looks a bit more appropriate for younger students, so I can change that there. But the really cool part about this is instead of having to change that every instance of that font, this change all button down the bottom here can allow me to change all instances of a grandeur narrow to new, some, playful. So if I just click change all, it's going to be hard to see because it's so small, but look at these bottom pages here with all the same font. If I click change all of those have changed as well. So we have this more playful font across the entire PowerPoint. Similarly down here, we have a grandeur. We can probably do the exact same thing with a grandeur if we want to and click change all, and it will change across every single slide, which is a really fast way to modify it slightly. I'm not saying this is a very good font, by the way, just an example. Now, another thing you can do is add and remove any element that you want. Say, for example, I kind of like the idea of an astronaut here, but I don't want it to be this one. I can click it and then just go ahead and click the delete button there, and I can search in the same search bar in the elements. I can search for astronaut, and there's going to be a wide range of astronauts. Now, you've got realistic photos. If I wanted a more realistic astronaut, say, for example, a picture of, I don't know who this astronaut is, but let's pretend it's Buzz Aldrin. It's probably not, but I don't know. So we can put a picture of him in. Another thing you can do, by the way, while I'm here is I like this picture of this astronaut, but I don't really like the fact that it's got a background to it. So what I can do is click Edit Photo, and then I can click Background Remover. And in one click, Canva is going to do all the work for us and completely remove that background from that astronaut, which is, I think, really cool. And it makes the, I don't know, just makes it really, really easy. To do that in Photoshop would have taken, even a professional quite a few minutes just to use the pen tool and go around him. Canva does it in seconds. It's really amazing. Okay. Pretend I don't want a picture though. Maybe I want a more cartoon one because it's going to match the playful font here. I can go to graphics instead of photos, and you can see a whole range of cartoon or animated astronauts here. So I might scroll down and say, oh, I like this guy riding a pencil. That's very school appropriate. So I can probably put him over here, and maybe I don't want this font to be centered as much. I can maybe put planets here and then move in the solar system over here or something like that. I'm not really a graphic designer, so I'm not going to pretend to be. But actually, even I know that looks bad. Maybe we'll go in the solar system. Other things you can do with the font, by the way, is click on this spacing bar, and you can change the line spacing. See how there's a big gap here? I might want to make that a bit smaller and bring those two words close together. You can also increase letter spacing if you want to. I do not want to in this instance, so I'll just go in the solar system there. Whatever. I've got my nice picture of my astronaut here riding a pencil. So you can add and remove any elements you want. Now, let's say we liked that little animation of our guy. We can add animation to elements as well. So if I head over, click on the guy you want to animate, and I head over to this animate button up the top here and click that, there's two different things in the animate tab. There's animations, which is when I go into and out of a slide, it will do a certain thing. So for example, if I do a, say, fade, it's going to fade in, and it's also going to fade out, and I'll show that through the presentation. So if I start this presentation, it's lagging a little bit. We'll go back and we'll just do that one more time. So I'll go back to that tab. I actually don't know how to restart this presentation, but he will fade in. And when I click across or to the next page, you'll notice he'll fade out. See him fade out there. And all of these little things, as the next planet comes in, you'll notice they pop into existence, pop in, pop out. That's an animation. So if I go back to the home page here, I might like that. But and notice it says both. This is one last thing about animation. You can decide whether you want him to animate just on entry, and then when I click to the next slide, he won't fade out. He will just disappear. Or you might want him to just animate on his exit, or both. It's up to you. I'm going to click remove animation for now, because I want this guy to actually add a motion effect. So I want him to do a little wiggle, just for a little bit of movement. You'll notice it's quite aggressive. I'll just hover over it. It's quite aggressive. He's moving quite a lot. Could be quite distracting. So I can lower or increase the intensity of his wiggle. So if I go right to the bottom, he's moving but much more smoothly, which matches the space theme. So I kind of like that. And you could honestly do this with everything if you wanted to. So we could add a wiggle and a low intensity wiggle for everything. So if we go into the presentation again, you'll notice that what I've animated to wiggle is just going to wiggle. This might be appropriate for some instances. It might not be appropriate for others, but I'll let you be the decider of that. Pretty cool feature though. Okay, so currently there are no transitions between each of these slides. There's kind of two ways to apply transitions. Like if we watch the presentation, it kind of feels like there's transitions, because when I click to the next slide, stuff happens and it's not just a boring change of the picture. But this is because every single thing in this instance is animated. So all of these different elements are animated in and they're animated out. And that's definitely a viable option. If you like that, by all means, go with it. But if you're interested in a very specific type of animation, a very specific type of transition, you can also apply those. So let's say from our initial page over to our next page with Mercury here, we wanted to add a very specific transition. You can go back to the initial first page and see these three dots down here. You can click those and then go add transition. And you can choose from the pre-made ones here. So for example, a slide, if you want that, or a dissolve. Maybe you want the home page to dissolve into the second one, and you can speed up or slow down the dissolve. So if you go very short amount of time, it'll dissolve very quickly, or you can make it quite long and a slow dissolve. So 1 second there. That's another way to do it. Thing with the transitions though, is that they will overwrite any animations that you've already added. So you'll notice here, if I click, this has already been animated, transitioned, you can see this little symbol in between the two slides that indicates a transition is there. If I go present and then present, so this is the initial page, you'll notice it does the dissolve, and there actually was some animation there. Some of the transitions don't allow an animation to occur in between them, probably just based on the type of animation that it is. This one, they actually did still exist. So you might want to remove animations. So let's say I did want to remove the animations between these first ones. I can just highlight everything here, go to the animate tab and clear animations at the very bottom. So now that it's cleared, keep in mind that's going to remove any motion effects. So if I want to re-add the motion effects, I can just go ahead and add those back in. I'll just do it for my little astronaut for now. And now when I present, you'll notice that none of these elements are going to fade or do their animation on the transition. They will just disappear as it dissolves into the next slide. Another type of transition you could do, I'll just show one more example. Click the dots, add transition. Maybe we want to do a flow. This looks pretty cool between these two slides. Especially because the slides are very similar in design, I think it looks really cool. So again, you can change the direction of the slide, whether you want it right or left. It's up to you. You can explore all that. If we have a look at the presentation now, and I'll go back to the very beginning, we've got this transition, we've got this transition, and we have the type of transition where it's just animations. And so you can play around with this. You can do whatever you'd like. One final thing about transitions is in the transitions tab, once you've decided on one that you think looks really good, for example this, you can click apply between all pages at the very bottom, and it's going to apply that transition to every single page, which might be appropriate in some instances, and it's good if you want to just go a quick and dirty PowerPoint. I called it a PowerPoint, but it's just a presentation or a lesson. So this is a very cool way to make a lesson or kind of commandeer someone else's lesson about planets in the solar system and use it for yourself, so you don't have to be so creative or you don't have to spend so much time making it. Okay, so there's a lot more, and by all means explore Canva, and there's so many different things you can do. But I think it's time in the video that we get onto the second part of the video, which is where I show you all the cool features in the presentation mode of Canva. All right, guys, and just quickly before we dive into actually presenting this and all the different features in the presentation process, if you're enjoying the video and you think Canva is as outrageously good as I do, make sure you like this video. It tells YouTube that my teaching content, my teaching teachers content. I don't know. My YouTube content is valuable, and it's going to share it with more teachers, and it's going to build our community, which I'm going to be really happy about. So thank you very much for hitting the like button. Alrighty, so we've created our presentation in Canva, and we're ready to present it to our class. Nicely, we don't actually have to export it. We don't have to open it in PowerPoint or anything like that. All you have to do is log into your Canva account, and right here from present, you can actually present. I've already showed you a little bit, so let's click the presentation button up here. We'll go through all 4 shortly, but first we're just going to present in full screen. So if you're sitting at a computer and you're attached to an overhead projector or a TV or something like that, all you have to do is plug your computer into that device, and you can just show this and sit at the front or stand at the front and take your students through the presentation. So you could click through, you can do a little bit of talking about Mercury, answer any questions students have about Mercury, then you can move on to Venus and then Earth and then Mars and so on and so on and so on, and finish your presentation that way. Totally fine to do that. There are a few bells and whistles though that make this presentation mode really cool. Now, I'm going to show you the first one here. It's a very simple thing, and I'm actually going to go through a few slides and get to some of the questions at the end of this presentation. Okay, so what do you remember? We're going to be looking at some questions here. The smallest planet in our solar system. We're asking the students this. So what you can do, instead of having, well, let me just show you, you can click this 3 dots down the bottom and click Show Timer, and it automatically puts a timer up there, and you can change the amount of time available. So you might say, okay, for each question here, going to give students time to think, and we'll maybe give them 20 seconds to think. So, oops, go back. So you can click play, and the timer counts down. The students have a quick think, pair, share, and then decide what they want to vote on. That's one option there. I think this is a really handy tool because I've found myself in the past wanting to show lessons or show websites or whatever, but I need a timer, and so I've been setting it on my phone. I've been setting it, just going to Google and typing 4-minute timer or whatever. It's built into this presentation tool, which is pretty cool. I'm also going to low-key use it to keep myself accountable because I do ramble a lot, as you've probably noticed in these videos, but it's way worse when I'm teaching. I ramble a lot, so maybe I'll put a 3-minute timer on every slide so I can not ramble too long. And I say, okay, 3 minutes are over, let's move on to the next planet, that kind of thing. So there for you. You can also add music if you'd like. If there's a particular type of vibe in your classroom and you don't mind music, you can play music while the students do some answers. That's totally fine, and that's up to you, of course. You can just click this button to minimize and get rid of that timer. Another thing with the presentation is this interactive Q&A with Canva Live. So if you click that button, and keep in mind the students are all going to see this as well, it gives you the option to start a Canva Live session, which is essentially a way for students to ask questions without interrupting the class and interrupting the presentation. So if I click Start New Session here, it gives the students a few options. If they've got devices such as iPads, or if you're happy with them having their phones out to do this, they can scan a QR code, which will take them to this Canva Live session, or they can just go to canva.live and enter this code. Now, I'm going to show you on my phone here. Should pop up on the screen as soon as I start recording. Okay, so what I can do, this is what the students will do. Click Open in Edge, for example, and it will bring them to this sort of page. So they can, add emojis if they want, love heart emojis, and everyone else will see it on their device. But the best feature of this, and what I'm going to encourage my students to do, is ask questions within this. Now, they can enter their name if they like, and if you want them to enter their name, otherwise they're not allowed to ask a question, you can do that. But those students who have questions, but they refuse to ask them, especially in front of the class, this is going to be an amazing tool for them because you can ask it anonymously. For example, or let's say, is Earth the only planet with water, ? And I can put that in. Now, I can see it here on my device. I can also see it here in the presentation mode. So if this is how you want to do it, totally fine. And all the kids can see that question pop up. The other aspect of this is these little thumbs up things. You can click it. The student themselves can click it. Any other students can click it. And what that's going to do is show you kind of through a voting system which questions are the most sought after, which questions do multiple students have, and it also gives those students who really don't want to ask a question the opportunity to suggest which questions should be answered. Of course, there's going to be a lot of silly ones. It's going to be up to you to manage this with your class and set the expectations and routines, but this is a really cool feature, I think, and it's going to mean that you're not interrupted by those students who have hundreds of questions. They can pop them in here and maybe you answer them every few slides, or maybe you answer them at the end of the lesson. But very cool aspect, Canva Live. If they've got laptops, of course, they can just go to canva.live and enter this code. Very cool. Okay, while I'm here on my phone, I'm going to show you something else that you can do in Canva. And I'm just going to get rid of this Canva Live session. So I might click end the Canva Live session. And then I go to the three dots here again, and there's this share remote control button. So with my phone, I can go back to my camera. I can go to this focus. I can go to this QR code and click that again. And what that's going to allow me to do is use my phone as a remote controller. Right, you know those people who do those big presentations and they have that little black clicker thing? They go forward and back and through their PowerPoint presentation. Your phone now does that and you don't need anything extra. There's actually a couple of cool features too. You'll notice on the screen here it says connected 1, so I know that my phone is actually connected already. And I can just go forward. I don't know why I'm showing you this. You can clearly see it on the screen. I have it as an overlay. And I can click through, click right, click right, click right, and it's actually going to go through the presentation for me. I can go backwards, 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 as far as I want. That's already pretty cool. Now, another thing you can do is there's some magic shortcuts at the top here. And some of these are really quite fun. So say, for example, you're here, you've done your timer. Let me just incorporate a few of these elements. Show the timer. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, ready, 1. Okay, the timer's done. And you're trying to quiet down the class, but they're still discussing it and arguing with each other. Of course, you've got your behavior management strategies to get them back under control. But a pretty fun one and an unobtrusive one is you can click this little emoji here. And on the screen, it's going to come up with a little emoji to shh. It's going to shush everybody, which I think, I don't know whether that's going to make them more rowdy or less, but I think that's a pretty cool feature. If you've got a sense of humor, and well, I hope you do, you're a teacher. If you've got a sense of humor, you can do some mic dropping. When a student gets questions right, you can do these little streamer things. Just before you tell them the answer to the question, you say the smallest planet in the solar system is Mercury. Yes, it's the one that's closest to the sun. Ha ha ha, very fun. If you want to blur the screen for a second so you can get the student's attention on you, especially if you've got little animations on there and it's a bit distracting, there's an animation one, all sorts of great stuff. While you're doing that, you can also still do the slides. Really cool feature. And the best part is, with this, you can set up your computer at the front of the classroom to the projector or the TV, and you can walk around with your phone so you don't actually have to be there at the computer. Real game changer, I think. It's going to allow you to be in and amongst the students, checking what they're doing, keeping them on task. Real powerful tool. Oh, and by the way, you can still do these magic shortcuts from your computer here. We've even got shortcut codes. So if you're sitting at your computer, you can just tap B and it's going to blur it, for example. Q for quiet and all those sorts of things. So if you want to use it at your computer, by all means do that as well. Okay. So a couple of other things about presenting before I show you how to record and save this presentation. You can also do a presenter view, much like PowerPoint. It'll give you the opportunity to have one full screen presentation that you can put on the main overhead projector or on the TV. And then on your local device, your laptop or your iPad or whatever, you can have the presenter view. So I'll just show you that real quick. So in the presenter view, it opens up an extra window here. This is the full screen one. So if I full screen that, this is what the kids will see. What you will see, however, is this here. This is the presenter view. So you'll keep this here. You'll drag and drop this other one over to another screen, whatever you want to do. And you can navigate through this. You can see all the slides that are coming up. You can also see all those Canva Live questions in the sidebar. So if you don't want the students to be focusing on the questions while you're teaching the content, you can do it in presenter view, keeping in mind they'll only have this full screen window. So they won't see the presenter view, they won't see the questions or anything like that. You will be able to see the questions though and answer them where appropriate. Okay. You've also got notes. So if you want to add notes, so extra bits of information, or you want to say the answer to you don't know the answer to this question, you can click this edit button down here and say the hottest planet is Venus, so that when you go to this slide, you know the answer. That's going to be good if you are a relief teacher, or if you are going to give this to a relief teacher to teach on your behalf, giving them the answers in the notes and showing them how to do that. Pretty cool. So you can do all the other stuff, share the remote control, do the magic shortcuts, everything from presenter view. This is a good option if you get students who are easily distracted and you just want them to see the presentation. Okay, so we've created our presentation. We've modified the existing one and we've done it really quickly. We have learned how to present it from within Canva, but what if you know you're not going to be present for a lesson and you want to just upload a video of you doing the presentation to YouTube where the students can watch it at any time? Okay, what you can do is go to this presentation bar here and you can click present and record. And I'm going to take you through this now and click next and then go to recording studio. So what that's going to do, it's going to ask you and prompt you to, first of all, I've already given permission, but it's going to ask you for permission for your microphone and also your webcam. I actually don't have a webcam right now on either of these things, so I actually don't have a camera, but you can see my microphone is peaking here. So I'm going to click start recording, and what it's going to do is give you a count in, and then you're going to be live. And I have a little picture here. I'm not in it. It just shows a microphone at the moment. But if you had a webcam on, it will show you a little face down here. So you can do the lesson and it's going to record your face. It's going to record your voice as you go through the lesson here. So you can also add notes while you're doing it. The students are going to see everything that you click through. So everything I'm watching and you're watching, they're watching. And they're also going to be able to see that little bubble with your face in it so you can interact with them, right? So if you're not going to be there and you need them to watch it, much like this video, you've got the main content in the background and a little overlay of your face and your microphone. So this is a really cool way to do it. I'm going to end the recording now, pretend I've finished the entire video, and it's going to upload to the Canvas studio. And once that recording is ready, you've got two options, or three options, but one is just discard, but two options. First of all, I'm going to copy the link, and I could just email this link to all my students. They can paste it in their own browser, and you'll notice here this video pops up straight away. The students click play, and then they can watch it. I have a little picture here. I'm not in it. It's just shows. I'm not 100% sure if this sound is coming through, but this is the sound of me talking over the presentation. The students can watch the entire thing that you did. You'll notice I start clicking through shortly
as you go through the lesson here. So
I'm talking over the top
while you're doing it. The students are going to see everything
and so on. So right there within Canva, you can create, present, record, and share with all of your students the entire lesson, all within one program very quickly. Now, the students can change the speed, so if they want to watch it much faster, they can go back, they can rewind. Videos are an amazing medium. That's coming from someone who makes YouTube videos, so that's not surprising, I'd imagine. So I'm going to close out of this now, but that's a link. You can just email that to your students if you'd like. Also, you can download this video. So you can download it and then save it, say, for example, on your local school drive. This is going to allow you to keep it forever, first of all, but also going to allow you to share it with other teachers. They can show it on their devices. If they're not comfortable teaching the content, they may want to use your video of you teaching it on their behalf, that sort of thing. Really cool. It's going to download as an MP4, which is a very common format. Furthermore, once you've downloaded it, if you would like, you can upload it to YouTube, which is going to allow you to use, it's just a bit more of a user-friendly platform. You can embed YouTube videos in a lot of LMS software. You can put it in OneNotes. You could just email the video link to students so they can go into YouTube and watch it. If you've got a YouTube channel, that's another great thing to do. So this is going to be downloading in the background now, but I'm going to ignore that. So this is a pretty cool feature. Being able to create, present, download, or record and then download presentations or entire lessons is just so incredible. But there might be times where you want to present something in video format that is not a presentation that you can create within Canva. So maybe you want to take students through an Excel file, or you want to take them through a website or a bunch of references or a history website or an online book of Macbeth. I don't know what you guys do, but whatever it is you want to do, it might not be a presentation. And if you want a really easy way to create a video of yourself presenting that in a video lesson format, make sure you click the video that's on the screen now. It's a video I made about OBS, which is just software that allows you to do that for literally anything that is on your computer screen, not just Canva. I think it's one of my best videos. Make sure you go check that out. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you being here, and I'll see you in the next one.